Welcome to Northwestern Ontario's second annual Pitch It event. Tonight we have 5 entrepreneurs vying for over $12,000 in cash and prizes, including a $5,000 first place prize. My name is Mike Greaves. I am your evening's host. Tonight's event features 5 finalists who have competed against over 30 applications from across Northwestern Ontario. Our finalists will pitch their idea or business expansion plan to a group of judges. Our judges represent the region's business and economic development community, and they will ultimately award a first, second, and third place prize. Additionally, Pitch It is offering a $1,000 People's Choice Award. So please vote for your favorite pitch at the end of the event. This evening, I'll introduce to you each finalist when it is their turn to present. The presenter has a maximum of 5 minutes to pitch it to the judges. After 5 minutes, the judges will have an opportunity to comment and question the presenter. Following the question and answer period, we'll move on to the next presenter. Once we've heard all 5 pitches, the judges will deliberate and return to announce the third, second, first place winners. Please allow me to introduce our judges. Michelle Hiscox is the Economic Development Officer with Jacuni Communities Development Corporation in Red Lake. She holds a degree in psychology, is a certified life skills coach, and is currently completing her economic development certification. Michelle has multiple years of experience in community and economic development, project management, and business planning consultation. Crystal George is the Executive Director at NTAB, serving both the Kenora and Rainy River districts. Crystal has a strong background in employment services with 14 years of experience as an employment counselor and job developer, specializing in assisting the local youth in accessing labor market opportunities and training. Her main NTAB office is located in Dryden, but she also works from her home office in Fort Frances. And Dave Allen. Dave is a Senior Business Relationship Manager at Copperfin Credit Union, based in Kenora. Dave's role is to engage with business owners from new startups all the way to large expansions. Whether he's ironing out kinks in business plans or assisting with everyday financial needs, Dave truly enjoys working with business owners and moving their financial lives forward. All right, now it's time for the show. So first, I'd like to invite Paloma Corin. Paloma hopes to bring her plant-based ice cream products to Kenora. Paloma, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
My name is Paloma Corin, and I'm the founder of Pal's Ice Cream. We make delicious, handcrafted, plant-based ice creams that everyone can enjoy. Pal's Ice Cream is in the startup phase, and our goal is to start in Kenora with pop-up shops and eventually sell hard ice cream out of a small mobile food truck on the waterfront in the summer. We also plan to sell pints at local retailers throughout Northwestern Ontario year-round. It's a simple truth. People love going out for ice cream. It's nostalgic, joyful, fun. It's about connecting with friends and family. It's a beloved tradition. However, not everyone can enjoy traditional dairy ice cream. Many people have allergies or experience uncomfortable symptoms of lactose intolerance after enjoying their favorite treat. There are also many ice cream lovers who are looking to avoid or reduce their dairy intake for concerns about their personal health, the environment, and animal welfare. Many people in Kenora have told me that they either don't go out for ice cream at all or would prefer to go out for a plant-based ice cream. So this is why I created Pal's Ice Cream. We use a blend of cashew cream and coconut milk to make a base that's deliciously creamy and rich, just like the beloved dessert of our childhood, but without the dairy. Many of our flavors are also allergy and gluten friendly. Pal's Ice Cream is also geared toward environmental sustainability, from the product itself to how we serve it. First, non-dairy ice cream has a significantly smaller environmental impact compared to dairy. And second, we use compostable materials for our pints and our serving materials, bowls and spoons. There is 0 plastic waste. I've tested several ice cream flavors with a few dozen people and have received great feedback, with many people saying they wouldn't know that there isn't any dairy in it. Although there are a few places to get ice cream in Kenora, none of them are like Pal's Ice Cream. None offer handmade or locally made ice cream. None offer delicious plant-based options, and none prioritize environmentally responsible products or packaging. Plant-based products have exploded in popularity in recent years in North America, and it's the fastest growing market for plant-based ice cream. There is opportunity to grow the market, especially locally. And as an example, Chez-Ban Ice Cream in Winnipeg, which is a popular artisanal shop, they were surprised to find that when they opened, that 1/3 of their sales were actually non-dairy ice cream. So to start, I want to fully capture my target market in Kenora, which is residents and tourists looking to avoid dairy or animal products. These customers are willing to pay a premium for high quality artisanal products that align with these needs, especially in places like Kenora where these options are very limited. I will reach my target market by word of mouth, social media, primarily Instagram, and will be listed on Google Maps. And I'll also have road signs directing people to my business. Now let's talk capital. We're in the early stages of R&D and have not raised any capital yet. But I have, however, invested in Pal's Ice Cream by purchasing a home ice cream maker, compostable packaging for 250 pints, and the ingredients for extensive recipe testing and creation. To get Pal's Ice Cream fully realized and operating as a mobile food trailer, I need approximately $40,000. And this would allow me to purchase the commercial equipment to produce ice cream, as well as to renovate a trailer into an ice cream shop itself. However, the $5,000 prize money would be a huge boost to being able to scale up my production immediately. The key purchase would be a commercial ice cream maker, as right now with my home maker, I can only make 4 quarts of ice cream in 24 hours. But with a commercial ice cream maker, I can make over 30 quarts a day, which means upwards of 60 pints or equal to 240 scoops of ice cream in a day. I would use the rest of the prize money to purchase other commercial equipment and ingredients to scale up the business. And this would allow me to do a few pop-up shops this summer and start selling pints to some retailers. These are the milestones that I would like to achieve by this fall. I'm the right person to make Pal's Ice Cream a reality. I'm extremely passionate about bringing joy to people through food, and what food brings joy to people more than ice cream? I also love showing people that they can still enjoy the foods that they love without animal products. I have 15 years experience cooking plant-based desserts and also have a unique background as a practicing lawyer, which gives me many skills to navigate the world as an entrepreneur. The Pal's Ice Cream is very important to me because it's about getting people outside in a fun place for a truly delicious treat that more people can enjoy. It's also a choice that has a lighter impact on the planet and is more friendly to the animals. Everyone can feel good about choosing Pal's Ice Cream. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to open up the floor to the judges. If you have a question or a comment, will you please raise your hand and I will call on you.
I'm not too sure if you did say it, but have you done any research into the marketplace of Kenora? I understand the plant-based, big and expanding. I'm just not too sure about the ice cream part of it. You tell me about that.
Well, I looked at the market research on a national level, and it's a very large growth area. Plant-based food is exploding. I believe in Canada, it's growing at a rate of 14. Plant-based ice creams are expanding at a rate of 14% a year. And I also looked at Chez-Ban Ice Cream in Winnipeg, which is a new artisanal ice cream shop. And they found when they opened up a few years ago that 1/3 of their ice cream sales were plant-based. So there's a huge demand for non-dairy ice cream products for a variety of different reasons, whether it's health, the environment, concern for animals. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that help answer your question?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I could get into the whole financial thing about it, Paloma, because that's my area, what I do. I don't know if you didn't present it, but that's okay. Have you worked out what you have to sell per day to cover your costs, to make $1, to pay back any debt, all those kinds of things? Are you at that stage in your process?
So I'm still in the recipe costing stage for each of my bases, but I estimate that I can bring in, just by selling 100 scoops of ice cream in a day, would be $700 of profit, give or take.
Okay.
$500 to $700 of profit. It's very, very loose at this point because I don't have my final numbers yet, but I'm in that phase of doing the final cost analysis for each of my recipes.
Okay,
I'm
certainly at the
looking
stage you'll
to
have
finalize
to
some
get,
of my wholesale ingredients.
yeah, you'll have to get to that as you move forward, for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely. The most important part.
somebody needs to make money.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So Paloma, just starting with the plant-based ice cream type products, are you planning on doing any other types of desserts or options?
I'm sorry, it cut out a little bit. Can you repeat your question?
Yep. I asked if you were planning on doing any other products other than the ice cream eventually.
Most absolutely. I have many ideas for expanding this business. I've had a lot of people ask whether I would be doing ice cream sandwiches, in which I would love to do ice cream sandwiches, particularly with gluten-free cookies so that more people could enjoy them. I'd love to do ice cream floats in a variety of different beverages, so kombucha, pop, coffees. So there's many directions that it can expand, as well as having the pints wholesale in retailers.
Cool, thank you.
And the flavors will be continuously rotating based on what's seasonal and local.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle, do you have anything to add? Yes, please
Yeah,
do.
I was just wondering, how many recipes or ice cream flavors do you think you have fully developed at this point?
Fully developed, I have about 4. I have another 4 in the works, and I would love to have many more. And it's an ongoing creation process.
Okay,
But they're
perfect.
all based around similar ingredient ratios. So the more you have and the more you make, the easier it becomes to develop new flavors.
You have your base
Yes.
for to develop. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So thank you, Paloma, for your presentation and answering the questions. Next, we're going to move on to Rod McKay. Rod has a plan to recycle boat shrink wrap plastic that currently ends up in the landfills. Rod, when you're ready, please go ahead.
Good evening, judges. My name is Rod McKay, and I'm excited to be here with my wife, Marian. Our company is SC Wrap Environmental Services, or SCRAP. We have developed an efficient, profitable process to remove at least 130,000 pounds of plastic annually from the Kenora landfill. Annually, 4,000 boats are shrink wrapped in Kenora, and that's enough to cover 31 Canadian football fields. And then plastic does not degrade in a landfill. The SC Wrap solution is to do on-site baling of the wrap. Our portable workstation is pulled into the site, situated at the storage area. Using 2 balers, the product will be baled into a bale weighing about 1,200 pounds. Bales will be stored at each marina on site for future pickup. Billing will be based on a price per bale. This simple process is very scalable and would work well for franchises in the future. There is a potential to set up routes for baling, like traveling to other communities, Red Lake, etc. The labor lends itself to summer student employment or a fundraiser with volunteers and an associated donation. There are many benefits associated with this project. It reduces the overall cost for marinas, hugely reduces the carbon footprint. Marinas can now give their customers assurance that the plastic is being recycled. And marinas want to do the responsible thing with their used wrap. It reuses the plastic versus new plastic being produced. So why are we better than our competitors? The main competitor is dumpsters hauling it to the landfill. The other competitor is supplying large fiber bags for a fee to fill with bulk plastic and truck to Winnipeg. The SC Wrap system uses lean principles by removing wasteful steps from the process. we take the baler to the material, eliminating most of the transportation costs. Baling on site, we control the quality of the raw material, which equates to value. All machinery and equipment is simple to repair and operate. A simple process that would be easy to grow in various ways. This process promotes environmental responsibility. Meeting with our customers has been very, very positive. The marinas are looking for a solution. Our starting customer bases will be marinas doing shrink wrap in the Kenora area. To expand, we would just expand the catchment area. And a future market is silage wrap from area farms. Our total investment to date is about $12,000 for 3 used balers and a large trailer for a workstation. Also, lots of time and energy at no charge. A 1-ton flatbed truck is included in the process, but not included in that evaluation. All equipment purchased has a higher resale value than my costs of buying it, so that really limits my risk. Estimated that another $7,000 to $8,000 is required to complete the mobile trailer, balers, and hydraulic systems, potentially a shredder before baling. So how do we make money? The finished bales will be sold for a gross revenue of $14,650 for 65 tons. And that's very conservative. We charge the marinas $300 for a 1,200-pound bale to bale their product. And that works out to about $12.50 per boat. Marinas charge an environmental fee, and then we'll pass it on to their customers. So looking on the revenue side, the sale of plastic would be in the neighborhood of $14,650, and the baling services would be $32,500 for gross revenue for $47,500. And that's in an 8-week baling season. Less our costs, I estimate to be $19,700, with a net revenue of $27,450 in 8 weeks, or $13,725 a month. Also, the wages could be less if we got involved in a summer student program, I think. So ingredients for success. The environmental climate is right. I have 47 years experience in maintenance, capital projects, and many years in senior management. Currently, I operate McKay Enterprises doing some consulting and maintenance to waste compacting equipment in Northern Ontario.
Rod, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, Dave, lead the way.
Rod, interesting idea. You would charge the marinas, that's your term, who uses the shrink wrap, and then you would sell the product to someone. There's a market for used plastic, I guess, somewhere.
Yes, there is, yeah.
Today, the marinas are doing what? Taking it to the landfill and dumping it and paying a dumping fee.
Yeah, they're
accurate?
They're paying labor to fill the dumpsters, and because it's so bulky, they can hardly get anything into a dumpster before it's full. Then they pay the hauling and the tipping fees. So their costs are huge compared to. We believe we can bring their costs down to less than half of what they do now if we charge them $250 a bale.
Okay, so you're saying there is some cost savings to the marina, and that's what I'm getting at. What makes them want to hold up their hand and say, come to my shop and bale for me, right? So
the other thing that I when I was out marketing this system is they really want to do the right thing. They don't want it to go to a landfill. They're even saying we would rather pay a bit more than it costs us now if we knew that it's going to a recycle facility, not to a landfill. So that was a good thing that I heard.
Okay, and part of your cost are shipping these bales to the market. I'm assuming Winnipeg, Southern Ontario. I don't know.
Well, the best place I've found to send it is to a company in Rogers, Minnesota. That's 8 hours away, or maybe a little longer on a truck. Being baled, I can do that 65 tons basically on 2 truckloads. So my freight is minimal compared to probably 300 or 400 trucks going back and forth to the landfill.
Okay.
Also, the price of plastic is a commodity and it cycles up and down, so my numbers here are very conservative. It's just, I priced it at just over 11 cents a pound for plastic, but it can go as high as 25 or 30 or 40 cents a pound for used plastic.
I had no idea what the price of plastic was.
And I don't have any questions. The couple things I had written down, you've answered them to Dave as well.
Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering, so you said you had spoken to some of the marinas around Kenora, and so how many would you have talked to see if they might be interested in something like this, or all of them, or
Four
four?
marinas, yeah.
And how many marinas are there? Do you know?
I think it depends on how far out I get. There's probably 8 or 9. But then if I start going down to Sioux Narrows area, up the Ear Falls, Red Lake, it gets a bigger and bigger catchment area. Plus, I haven't even looked yet at West Hawk Lake, Falcon Lake, those marinas. So what I did find was a very, very positive response from the marinas.
Okay, thank you.
We'll put a wrap on that one. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, Rob. Next up, we have Brennan Hostedler. Brennan has an ice fishing invention to prevent you from losing a fish at the hole, getting wet, and avoiding injury when you're trying to land the fish.
Good evening. My name is Brennan. I'm 13 years old, live in Sioux Lookout, and I'm currently homeschooling in the 8th grade.
And I'm Colin, Brennan's father and fishing partner. I'm the CFO and Director of Human Resources at SkyCare Air Ambulance.
Together, we've developed a product that will change the way ice anglers across Canada and the northern United States land their catch. If you've spent any amount of time ice fishing, you probably understand the challenge of landing a fish in the ice, especially a large fish. This is a moment we refer to as peak panic, as the fish is often thrashing, and it can be a challenge to grab the fish while avoiding hooks, teeth, fin spines, and gills. It was early this winter, after one too many times of losing a good fish right at ice level and being soaked to the shoulder trying to reach down the hole after it, that we decided it was time to change this process. Much to our surprise, an internet search revealed no good tools to land a fish while ice fishing, other than a gaff, which is lethal. This was when the seed of an idea formed for the Icelander.
The Icelander is a plastic tube which will be adjustable from 20 to 40 inches in length, with diameters for all the common auger sizes at 6, 8, and 10 inches. It has a collar at the top and a steel control rod that runs the length of the tube to a plastic or steel drain plate at the bottom. The tube is inserted into the ice fishing hole until level with the bottom of the ice, and the drain plate is turned out under the ice with the control rod. When a fish is caught, when the angler can then fish through the tube using all standard methods for ice fishing. When a fish is caught, it is simply drawn into the tube as would usually be done with the ice hole, and the control rod is used to close the drain plate at the bottom. The angler then has the fish landed like in a net and can make decisions about how or when to remove the fish and plan next steps for photos, measuring, and keeper release.
The Icelander significantly improves the safety and convenience of the landing process for both fish and angler, enhancing conservation efforts and the angling experience.
We already have an established Canadian-controlled private corporation with 7 years of financial history. This company will be the home for financing, producing, marketing, and distributing the Icelander. We believe that there truly is a global market for this product north of the 44th parallel, but we'll focus our initial production and distribution efforts in central Canada and the Midwest US. Our goal is to launch the Icelander in these regions in November 2023. We are both dual US-Canadian citizens, and I've previously started 2 small businesses in the US. Starting a US subsidiary or possibly licensing the Icelander for US distribution to an established ice fishing brand such as Otter, Eskimo, or Clam would be relatively accessible for us.
We're still searching for the right production partner, but have already been in touch with thermoforming, rotomolding, and injection molding companies in Ontario and Manitoba. Our preference is to keep assembly as close to home as possible, and a facility along the Trans-Canada in Northwestern Ontario will be best suited for our shipping needs.
Initial marketing efforts will include distributing samples to YouTube personalities such as Kenora's own Jay Siemens, Clayton Schick and the Conrad brothers in Central Canada, and Tom Bully and Jason Mitchell in the Midwest US for use in their videos, reaching hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Samples will also be donated as prizes for some of the larger ice fishing tournaments that happen across the region. The Icelander will be marketed at the trade shows for sporting goods retail with the ultimate goal of accessing retail sales through Cabela's and Canadian Tire within 2 years. The ice fishing community is a friendly but competitive fraternity when it comes to gear, and the amount of money being spent in this market has exploded in recent years. The Icelander is well positioned to be a breakout product in an uncontested niche.
Distribution will start with local sporting goods retailers in our region, such as Al Sports in Sioux Lookout, Clarkson Dryden, and Lake of the Woods Sports headquarters in Kenora. However, this will quickly be followed by expansion to regions with the great names of ice fishing lore, like the Bay of Quinte, Lake Simcoe, Devil's Lake, Green Bay, and others. Our market research indicates we can expect to be able to price the Icelander similar to landing nets at $75 to $240, depending on the tube size and materials used, with a gross margin of 55%. Projected sales are 5,000 to 7,000 units annually, with market saturation not likely until between 50,000 to 80,000 units. We've already reserved US and Canadian domain names for websites for direct ordering and custom orders for larger ice shacks and trailers.
A win here today will provide funding for the next stages of prototype development and patent and trademark work. The Icelander is a simple idea with big potential. Thank you for your time this evening.
Judges, feel free to jump in.
Can you show us the tube again so we can see it?
You put it down the hole with the flap closed, and then once it's down the hole and to the level of the ice, you open the flap, and then you fish through it. And then once you catch a fish, you reel it in through the bottom. And once it's in the tube, you just close the flap and pull the tube out, and you have your fish landed.
Okay, cool.
Can-
And you
can-
guys have tried this?
We have field tested it. We
Yep.
got 2 fish in it, and it worked great.
Yeah, just landed a couple lake trout with it on the weekend.
Nice.
Can you show the other end, the top end? Just
Yep.
as a,
So there's the control rod there that you use to turn the plate.
okay. And I was going to say, how do you know it's open and closed? Okay, that little black mark is closed.
right.
Okay. Do you have a standard length you're going to make this product?
The initial length for the product will be a 20-inch. That will satisfy, a lot of the ice depth south of here. And then it will be expanded in 10-inch sections. For our region, you're often 30 to 36 inches of ice. So you could add an additional 2 10-inch sections. And we also have threaded rods that make the rod extendable as well.
So extending the I'll call it plastic for lack of better terms, and the rod for the scoop, basically. That's what it,
Yeah.
And it's adapted scoop. Okay. And you said, I think you said for the various ice size, the 6, the 8s, the 10-inch holes that the fishermen drill. Okay.
Yep.
The price point, did you say 75 to 225? Something in that range?
75 to 240 is generally what you see for landing nets.
Okay.
240 would be the 40-inch, 10-inch, like 10-inch diameter, 40-inch long, the big one.
And you said you don't have this patented yet. Is that correct?
Not yet. No, that's correct.
Have you sought legal advice to do that earlier than later? Like I'm just thinking out loud.
We have not sought legal advice. We've done some initial patent searches ourselves, and it's a review of that process.
Okay. Obviously, the first, second, third, or fifth prize money is a small pittance to what this venture might take you into. That's a whole nother field. So savings, family members, again, you're talking maybe production and distribution and all that kind of stuff. Brendan, you're going to be in high school before getting rich by this time someday, I'm sure. But a lot of work ahead of you.
Yes, there certainly would be.
Yeah. I love the name.
Michelle, do you have a question to add to the?
I was just wondering, you said you guys had tested, and sorry if I missed that, but have you had many other people test it out aside from you?
Yeah, no, not yet. This is definitely pretty early stages for us. This has been happening real time, and the Pitch It competition came up when it did. So,
okay, thank you.
Part of what the winnings would be used for would be additional prototypes to be able to distribute to other users for market testing.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, we're going to move on to Vic Moss. Vic is hoping to expand her enterprise with hydro bikes, e-bikes, and e-scooters. Vic, when you're ready, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vic Moss, the founder and operator of Mosswood Adventures and Rentals, Kenora's newest eco-tourism business. And I'm on a mission to create a welcoming, inclusive, eco-conscious, and fun community for locals and visitors looking for outdoor adventure and leisure options in Kenora, Ontario. Really, the goal is this: happy people having fun outdoors. Now, this is the official Mosswood mascot, but truthfully, this happy person with trees in her eyes represents me. I'll dive into our backstory. So I moved to the Ontario Canadian Shield almost 2 years ago from the Manitoba prairies, and the transition was very difficult for me. When we arrived, I was working from home, balancing childcare because COVID was still a very big thing. And the mental load was immense. I was stressed, I felt very isolated, and finding it extra difficult to connect and make friends in this community. As I slowly found my footing in Kenora and the Treaty 3 territory, a revelation occurred. I was always happier when I could be outdoors and share experiences with others. And I saw firsthand how the same benefits helped my young family. Being curious about lake life and adopting the way of life here, I struggled to find introductory adventure options and accessible family-friendly activities, especially in the colder and shoulder seasons. And that struggle pushed me to deep dive into research and ultimately decide that my passion for people and the planet could be funneled into an entrepreneurial dream. In January 2023, I launched the Mosswood mobile ice bike rental service and traveled to various communities in the region, offering a unique leisure experience on the ice. Supporting other small businesses and local initiatives are a driving force for me. So I pitched the idea of being weekend ice neighbors to another local pop-up cafe on Lake of the Woods. I invited Kenora Little Libraries to create a little library on the ice, and our Ice Road Hub was born. Our short and thrill ride startup season solidified what I had always predicted. Our community members are looking for more recreational options. You can never underestimate the power of collaborating with others, and there is much untapped tourism potential in the region, and being outdoors, even in the cold, can be fun. So what's next? Receiving the NWO Pitch It grant would help cover costs to expand my rental options for the upcoming summer season. Much like our winter launch period, we plan to curate a summer pop-up with our current business trailer, offering human-powered rental options, including water and land-based activities. Our projection of growing rental options within the next 2 summers would include a multi-person pedal bike, e-bikes, stand-up paddle boards, paddle boats, kayaks, and drumroll, the introduction of water bike rentals to our community. We would also rent out beach essentials like umbrellas and chairs for consumer convenience. The total investment needed for phase 2 this summer would be approximately $19,000. We would also continue our work with local nature and outdoor leisure experts to create an introductory adventure experience, which would include group hikes, botanical dyeing workshops, stand-up paddleboard clinics, and offering more of our popular nature therapy sessions. And of course, we would jump at the chance for any additional opportunities to collaborate with local small businesses and create a new summer hub. Our primary target market for the business would be visitors and newcomers, folks who flock to Kenora in our busy summer season and who may be newer to the way of life in Northwestern Ontario. Overall, we're always striving to minimize the overwhelm when it comes to finding leisure activities and local information. Our customers, but I'll be honest, I call them friends, would be those who are looking for activities that are minimal commitment, needing little experience, something that's affordable, and can be geared to varying ages and abilities. Remember, the goal is happy people having fun outdoors. I so appreciate the opportunity to pitch my business today in front of our judges and audience at large. I congratulate all the other finalists for following your biz dreams too, and I look forward to answering any more of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic.
Why not? Hi, Vic.
Hi.
A couple of questions. I'm just looking at my notes. Have you, you've operated on the winter, in the winter already for one season, I think you said?
Yep.
And then looking towards this summer with additional summer products, my notes for pedal bike, e-bikes, water, pedal board and whatnot. Do you have, or did you investigate insurance for your business?
Yes. So just like with the ice bikes, I do have insurance through that. And when I was applying, this would have been late last year, I did mention that I was looking to expand into the summer adventures and rentals as well. So it's a fairly straightforward process where I just call them back and get everything set up. And usually they're pretty quick at letting me know what is and what isn't an option for me insurance wise. So yeah, I already have established that relationship. So it's just about adding extras to that.
Good to hear. I would hate to have the wrong answer there.
Yeah, I'm also incorporated. So
Okay.
it's just to assist me in any legal liability.
And you said that your summer investment would be $19,000. How many units does that get you? Like, what are you talking? Half a dozen bikes, half a dozen paddle boards, and I'm just throwing numbers. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So again, what I listed was kind of my 2-year plan. So year one, I have a list here. So that would include 6 stand-up paddle boards, life jackets, paddles, the multi-person pedal bike, as mentioned. So that's up to 5 riders, and that's land-based and actually can be converted to ice. So I can use it in the summer and during the winter season. That would include also a pedal boat, just one, and a slew of kayaks. So 6 different types of kayaks for various ages. And then the additional accessories, as I mentioned, umbrellas, chairs, and then looking to, I also already just have 3 e-bikes, so I don't need to, I believe, add anything there for the time being. Again, I think it's really about jumping in and seeing what the market needs. And then the water bikes and more e-bikes and possibly e-scooters would be year 2, likely.
Okay. How are you getting the word out?
Good question. I'm putting myself out there. My marketing approach is very humanized. So I currently have an Instagram, Facebook, TikTok account. I have an e-newsletter that I send out typically monthly during my busy seasons. And I've really just built up a brand from there. So I already have a following. I'm well established in the community already, even after, well, I guess this is my 4th month. And things are slow right now, of course, but it is a seasonal business. So I just pick up where I left off. And yeah, I think it's going to be a lot easier to sell summer, to be honest.
Are you going to pop up at the local beaches with your products and billboards? I'm just trying to picture how you.
No, of course. So so I have a trailer unit that houses all of my equipment. So I would pop up. My plan is to pop up at one city beach in particular. I'm currently just awaiting clearance to do that. If I had an example, it would be similar to what they do with Hoopla Island in Norman Park. So they're kind of situated for the summer. So I want to do the same thing at one of our local beaches.
Crystal or Michelle, do you have anything else to add?
Dave asked a couple of my questions again. The only other one I had, Vic, was I haven't been in Kenora for a long time, the Kenora area. Is there any competition there? Are there any other places that do anything like this?
Yeah, so there's only one other adventure company to my knowledge. You know, if you were to Google it and look for, let's say, stand-up paddleboard rentals, there's only one other business that does that. I think my advantage, of course, is I could be pop-up and I could show up at various locations. I'm also considering my pricing and the amount of hours that people would have to rent just to make it a little bit more feasible for them. Again, you know, being inclusive is really important to me, so I want to make sure that yeah, my price and you know, anyone that's coming to try my products or support my business are well prepared when they go into the water or wherever they're adventuring. So
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. We're going to move on to our fifth and final finalist. It is Brendan McDonald. Brendan is expanding audiology services for rural and remote communities with new physical locations and tele-audiology.
Oh, my name is Brendan McDonald. I'm an audiologist, doctor of audiology, and owner with my wife of Boreal Audiology and Hearing Services. We're located in Dryden, Ontario. We've been open for 6 months now. My wife and I, we recently moved back. I previously worked in Edmonton and Winnipeg alongside teams of ear surgeons, audiologists doing work with adults and children's diagnostic testing, hearing aid services, and implant services. So we're looking at providing these services locally here in Northwestern Ontario. Now you may be wondering about some hearing health facts, some questions. Surprising enough, 60% of Canadians aged 19 to 79 have a hearing health problem. Now, when you think of hearing loss or hearing health issues, communication barrier is the first and the most prominent thing that jumps up. However, there's a lot of health risks associated with hearing loss as well, such as dementia, cognitive decline, social isolation. These are hot topics in the last few years for research. There's a threefold increase in falls for those that have a mild hearing loss. And for children, speech learning and social development are crucially affected with hearing loss. Now, investing in hearing health is important. Recent modeling studies, recent as last year, has shown that for every dollar invested in hearing healthcare, the return was $15 over a 10-year span. Now, bringing things back here to Northwestern Ontario, you may be thinking, well, what's the crux of the issue in Northwestern Ontario? And as we're very familiar, the expansive range of Northwestern Ontario, taking a look at this map, is huge. We've got a lot of remote communities. I mean, traveling distances even between Dryden, Sioux Lookout, Red Lake, Fort Frances, Ear Falls is quite great. But look at all these northern communities. These remote Indigenous communities currently have no fly-in adult services. Indigenous communities have a greater risk of having hearing health problems in the first place. And they also have an incredible barrier for accessing these services. So where do we come in? As I mentioned, Boreal Audiology, we're centrally located. Currently, our clinic is in Dryden, and we're looking to position ourselves to offer audiology services, taking one step further outside the community. So first, we're looking at establishing a satellite hub on, let's say, a part-time basis every few weeks, looking at Sioux Lookout, for example, to provide local community services. And secondly, if we can get in and start providing tele-audiology services, this could be a very big distance barrier that we can break down. So tele-audiology is the delivery of audiology services like hearing testing, hearing aid adjustments, hearing aid fittings across great distances. We connect remotely with computers, and I can perform testing at my office locally here, so long as the satellite or the distant location has the equipment set up. So if you can imagine, if let's say one Indigenous community had a setup such as this and it worked successfully, we could replicate this across many communities in Northwestern Ontario. So our growth plan, what we're looking at over the next few months is securing funding for equipment. So equipment for audiology is quite expensive. Audiometers, tympanometers, for example, will range from 5, 6, upwards of $10,000 to $15,000. Through the summer 2023, we're looking at establishing that site in Sulicote, as I mentioned, for a satellite location on a part-time basis. Currently, we have a contract that is pending for fly-in services in the northern community. If we can get boots on the ground, establish good community rapport, we can start delivering local services and then maybe transition to a teleaudiology service. And through the fall and spring, we're looking at expanding training. So my wife, who runs the business with me, is looking at additional training to provide some hearing care services as well. So as she transitions to some of this training, we would be looking at increasing employment as well. So hiring someone to help as our business needs need to be met. So as I had mentioned previously, the World Health Organization is imploring countries to invest in hearing healthcare. It's showing great promise. Now, why not we start locally here in Northwestern Ontario? We should invest in boreal audiology. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Michelle, I'm going to let you start.
So could you kind of, pardon me, explain like what your primary source of funding, like, is it generally paid by individuals coming in for the services, by healthcare coverage, corporations sending in employees?
That's a very good question. So the funding for hearing care services, I would say it would be very, very mixed. So insurances do provide funding, like workers' compensation, for example, would provide funding for services so long as you're approved. For Indigenous communities, non-insured health benefits fund these services. For those that aren't covered, there's no current coverage through OHIP. There is some assistive funding for hearing aid devices through the Assistive Devices Program. So with individuals that aren't covered by, let's say, a third-party insurer, Veterans Affairs would be another third-party insurer. Sometimes Blue Cross, Manulife, private insurers can help fund some of these services. So when when I'm talked about expanding, looking at teleaudiology delivery of services, that would primarily be funded through the non-insured health benefits, for example, for the provisions of those services.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And you want to expand your services into a satellite location, particularly in Sulicote, is that what you said?
That's correct, because as much of a hub as Dryden is, like Dryden does provide a lot of services for Vermilion Bay, Ignace, Ear Falls, Red Lake, Sulicote. A lot of services are offered in Dryden. Sulicote is a very big hub for fly-in services for Indigenous communities. So our first step is to be able to provide some local services in Sulicote on, let's say, a part-time basis. So once I establish that step, I'm currently looking at doing a contract for a northern community as well. So as these steps go on, I've kind of got a little process. I want to take things step by step to make sure that I'm not jumping in, let's say, into the deep end, for example.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
I might have, my internet, I guess, froze. I probably lost about the last minute or so of your presentation, but what would the top prize do for you? Did you explain any of that? I wasn't too sure if I missed something. Or
Yeah, so
what would some of the dollars do for you?
Yeah, so currently, the last slide of my presentation, I was outlining some of the costs we have. Are the big costs are equipment costs. So we do have, let's say, a tympanometer would be on average anywhere between $4,000 and $7,000. A new audiometer would be anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. So we do have these pieces of equipment at our office here in Dryden. However, if I'm looking to travel to a satellite location, it would be best suited that I have permanent piece of equipment rather than traveling with a unit back and forth, because these units need to be calibrated to specific values. It's best if they're kept in one place. So if I could have the prize money would help fund towards a dedicated unit, or even setting up, if we go so far as teleaudiology type services. So there's computers costing, the equipment, the setup for that. So my last slide, I had a little image of what one of these cart type setups do.
Okay. I was interested to hear your terminology, teleaudiology. Everyone hears of telehealth. I guess it's just the hearing side of for remote distances, and I guess it's possible. I don't know. So
yeah, I would say the biggest things with teleaudiology have been, like, a lot of the hearing aid companies have transitioned to being able to remotely adjust or remotely fit a hearing aid. And now we're seeing more introduction on doing diagnostic services through teleaudiology. So if we can get the diagnostics, if we can get the hearing aid services provided remotely, we could greatly reduce the amount of fly-in travel that's needed, maybe only having one fly-in trip versus 4 or 5 in order to get a hearing test, get a hearing aid, fit with an adjustment, fit with a readjustment. So teleaudiology can really close the gap for a lot of these remote communities.
That concludes our finalists' presentations for this evening's Pitch It. Thank you, Paloma, Rod, Brendan and Colin, Vic, and Brendan. Thank you for all your hard work. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished thus far. I wish you all the best of luck in the contest and in your business venture. Our judges are now going to enter deliberation. We'll be back after some messages from our sponsors.
Lightning fast connectivity is a game changer. With T-Tel coming in and being able to offer fiber, now we use systems that are all web-based. We couldn't actually do some of the things that we do in our business without having access to that web-based technology and constant connectivity. I can say not just us, but there are many others here in the community that having T-Tel fiber here is literally a game changer. It's instrumental in us being able to actually grow as a community and have business be able to thrive.
So, owning a business means something different to everyone. It can mean getting up early to beat the sun, or staying late to make sure everything's perfect. Ownership can mean full creative control, or loving what you do, while needing to be in 2 places at once. It's a little bit of take, a lot of give. It's about improving your community and carving out time for important things. It can mean compromise, or not compromising at all. Ownership means building relationships, and sometimes rebuilding from the ground up. It's remembering where you came from and knowing where you're going. At Copperfield, we're invested in you and your business success, and work hard to create financial plans that support your vision. We get you because we're owned by you.
Welcome back. The judges have had a chance to discuss all 5 pitches. Here are tonight's top 3 winners.
Third place is Brennan Hostedler.
And in second place, Rod McKay.
And our first place winner, Vic Moss.
Congratulations to all 5 of our Pitch It finalists. In addition to the cash prizes, you will all receive professional development support and services from the group of organizing partners and sponsoring businesses. I'd like to thank everyone who applied to Pitch It. Thank you to the finalists for showcasing their businesses, ideas, and expansion plans tonight. Thank you to the judges who graciously volunteered their time. Thank you to all the event sponsors and supporters, and thank you for tuning in. That's it for us. See you next year. Be well. Good night.